I tend to research everything almost too deeply sometimes, but here is some important information on the state of affairs in the world I think everyone needs to know. I will share links below for my references. First the problem, then some solutions. Note, I write this not to spread fear, but as a warning of what's to come so that you may bring yourself into a space of love. 3 weeks ago when the Occupy Wall Street protests began, I was so excited to see movement by the people in this country. At first there was no media coverage, but now it seems to make top story headlines and is being hijacked by special interest groups. One example of this is MoveOn.org, which is one of the main financial contributors to the Obama campaign. MoveOn.org also received a $5 million donation from George Soros, who many believe is a behind-the-scenes guy pulling a lot of strings in the puppet government around the world. In an article written by Webster Tarpley, there also appears to be a steering committee behind the protesters, whom observers have noticed disappear each day from 4 to 6 p.m. to attend a suspected closed-door meeting. These people will also not give their real names. These protests are now also entering their first stages of violence, and this is exactly what the leaders want. If violence ensues, it only gives them the right to take away more of our liberties, give a bad name to the protesters and chase them out of the streets. They want chaos. They want you to be in fear and to be angry. Don't give them that benefit. Learn to occupy your heart. Be the change you want to see. Fear only lowers the vibration of our collective consciousness. One thing to know is that most any time on mainstream news someone is moving their lips, they are lying. The corporations own the media. I believe ABC is owned by General Electric, one of the largest corporations in the world. We are always being obviously lied to. You can see this by doing your own research. There is no way 9/11 was done by Al-Qaeda alone, maybe a conjecture of both countries, or something even bigger perhaps. You've heard enough 9/11 conspiracies, but more recently the Fukushima disaster and BP oil spill. It keeps coming out months and months after how bad it actually was, and those numbers may not even be correct. We seem to be in the perfect scenario for the collapse of the modern world as we know it. Worldwide protests and rioting against governments, an alarming increase in natural disasters this year, Western nations on verge of economic collapse. We have reached the 10th year of illegal unjustified war, harmful vaccination becoming more and more mandatory. The list goes on, folks. It is interesting that it is all coinciding with this 2012 date. Though I actually believe it's 2011, there has been so much doomsday information around the end of the Mayan calendar, which I believe is spread only to create fear, when in reality it signifies the coming of a golden age. The power control force knows this, but they would like to hinder its process. Impossible, I say. What is going on in the world is strangely similar to what I believed what would be happening in these times when I first learned of the 2012 prophecy. The world descending into further chaos with war, famine, rioting, natural disasters, and at the point it couldn't get any worse, something big would happen, I mean really big, that would bring humanity together as one. And through this, those now in control would try to use this as a means of global domination, false prophets. But through this the greatest lies in human history will be exposed, and we will rise as a people to the occasion and create a new earth. One being we are not alone in the universe or even on this planet. So where do we go from here? It all starts from within, your own inner revolution. We can blame those in power, but in reality it is only humanity, the 99%, that has allowed this to happen. Though we cannot blame ourselves, as we humanity seems to have been in a deep state of hypnosis, or rather post-hypnotic suggestion, for quite some time now. But now is the time. We can awake as one. With every dollar you spend, you are voting for or against the system. With every thought you have, you are creating love or fear vibrations that reverberate through the collective consciousness. So start with yourself. Try to connect in with nature every day for at least 15 minutes. Even if you live in the city, find a place you connect with and spend time there as often as you can. Things are going to get crazier faster than you expected. You may not be able to drive to the store as easily as you can now. Food and seeds will become the new gold. Get yourself and those closest to you physically prepared as much as you can afford. Purchase bulk food orders, store grains and legumes in 5-gallon airtight buckets. Buy locally, eat in season, do not buy organic food imported from other countries. Superfoods are the foods that are growing closest to where you live. Disintegrate yourself from relying on the system. Remove your money from corporate banks. Open one up at a credit union if you really need a bank account. Sign the petition to demand labeling of genetically modified foods in California. Practice deep breathing throughout the day. Breath in deeply through the nose until cannot fit any more air and slowly out through the nose. Do this 5 times in a row a couple times a day, wherever you are. Things are only going to get more intense on this planet and we need to be in our center if we are to survive it.